Although Macromedia Flash isn't an application that will require a heavy-duty computer system, and this is due primarily to the fact that you're dealing with vectors or mathematically equated lines, instead of pixels as in Photoshop, which are dealing with lots of little tiny dots, which can all be of various colors. You don't need to have a very heavy-duty system. Macromedia requires that you have at least a 600 MHz Intel Pentium 3 processor, 128 megabytes of RAM, although you see here that 256 are required or recommended. And you need to have this much disk space available, 347 megabytes minimum. On a Macintosh, you need to have a 500 megahertz PowerPC G3 processor as a minimum spec and use OS 10.28 or later. As in the Windows requirements, 256 megabytes of RAM are recommended, and you need to have a minimum of 280 megabytes of space. The more the merrier in any application is basically the rule of thumb to follow. And keep in mind that even though you may have a high-powered system, the more complicated your flash movies, the greater strain on your system. So you can have a movie that has lots of scenes and lots of characters and special effects and all of them moving at the same time, and that could bring your system to a crawl. So keep in mind that even though you're dealing with vector-based objects, the more complicated the movie, the more your computer will have to keep up. So you should get as much RAM as you can afford, and RAM right now is very inexpensive. So if need be, max out your RAM. Make sure you have a lot of hard drive space to store all these films. And none of them will be very large, by the way. I have worked on films that have been about 5-6 minutes long, and they have never been more than 200 megabytes. So storage is not really an issue. They'll fit on a CD-ROM very easily or a large zip disk. So these are the requirements you'll need to use Flash.